55 years after their last league win at Anfield, Nottingham Forest take all 3 points from Liverpool. However, this is how things are looking in the table right now for Liverpool in second after 4 games played on 9 points. Obviously, Manchester City taking a lead at the top as it stands right now. Alisson, Liverpool's goalkeeper, not very complimentary about Nottingham Forest afterwards. He said it was a shame. Losing points at home is not good at all. But the opponent today only wanted to defend and play for the long ball. Well, let's hear what his manager, Arne Slot, had to say about the loss.
I think the only thing we had influence on was ball possession, because they played a lot of long balls. So if you then take the ball back, you need to go past 11 players. And we had a lot of ball possession, but only managed to create 3, 4 quite good chances. So that's by far not enough against it. If you have so much ball possession, if you play so much on their half, we need to be much better, and we lost the ball so many times in simple situations.
So that's how things are looking. Don Hutchison joining us now. Not too happy either, it would appear, at that result. But Stevie, I want to start with you. I know I spoke to you about this earlier, and you said it smacked of a game that came after the international break for Liverpool.
Yeah, it did. It did. The sharpness wasn't there. Yes, they had the possession of the ball. They had the position on the field generally. They were in the final third most of the time. But when you don't have that extra sting in your legs, that extra sharpness, when you're up against a lot of bodies and a team that are on their toes and defending well, then this is what you get. They couldn't break them down. You know, Arne Slot said there was 3 or 4 good chances. I'd love to know which ones they were, because I only saw one. Diaz hit the post because the defender made a complete mess of it in his own penalty box. That's the only reason he hit the post. And the only real chance was McAllister with a beautiful ball with the outside of his right peg to the far post. And I thought Jota should have done better and maybe scored. But after that, not a chance. No, there is not another chance in the game where you can turn around and say Liverpool should have scored. They could have still been playing and they wouldn't have scored. You've got to give Forest credit. They defended well. There's no question.
Do you feel the same way, Don?
I commentated on the game, Kay, and Stevie's nailed it, really. They were flat. The crowd played their part, because I think the crowd recognised that the Liverpool players needed a hand in the game. But I've got to say, when the team news come in and I seen Nuno go with Elanga on the bench, Hudson-Odoi on the bench, I thought, that's risky. So you're going to go in a really low block and you're not going to offer too much on the counter. But then, on about the hour mark, he brought Elanga on, brought Hudson-Odoi on while it was 0-0. And then I think the crowd realised that Forest were a real threat in the game. And I said with 15 to go, I went, the crowd are anxious. There's tension in the Liverpool players because this game's going to swing either way. Someone's going to get a winner. I seen loads of players with Liverpool today that either didn't fancy it. I seen McAllister take a knock to the chin inside 20 minutes. I'd never seen him after that. Szoboszlai, I'd never seen him give the ball away so much. Mo Salah was terrible for his standards, giving 5-yard passes away. Trent couldn't find a pass to save his life, and it was contagious. And the more the game went on, the more I think the Liverpool players were finding it a struggle, because they were probably coming off the back of 3 wins on the spin, no goals conceded, battered Man United last week, coming into this game a little bit complacent, thinking, well, it's Forest. We'll turn up with our B game and we'll win. And the longer the game went on, it played into Forest's hands because Liverpool just couldn't get going.
It is quite the come down, isn't it, Shaka, from that result at Old Trafford?
It is, and kind of given the high that you go into the international break, and while I guess Stevie's point about this being almost a typical Liverpool performance post that international break, truth be told, if you could handpick who your opponent is and the venue, you'd probably pick Anfield and somebody along the likes of Nottingham Forest. And now, while you could probably make the argument that Forest don't have too many away on international duty, a team as they are with their expectations, that's who you want to welcome home. And again, to Alisson's point, surely you've been in the league long enough to know that half the teams are going to come to Anfield and play exactly like that. And the onus is on you to get that goal, to force them to come out. You know, once you get that first goal, 2 or 3 may follow, and it turns out a very easy evening. But you have to get that first one. So For me, from a team as experienced in the Premier League and experienced at competing at this level, to a player who is as experienced and competing at this level as Alisson is, both Liverpool and Alisson got this completely wrong when I don't think they should have.
This is about psychology, this game. When you come back and you're the big cheese and you're playing against the small fry, it's a psychological battle. This is one of the biggest games of the season for Forest. Whereas Liverpool's players are coming back from all over Europe, South America, you name it, everywhere on the planet. And I'm glad it's Forest. We'll probably beat them anyway, but let's just get it done and we'll get some rest. That's how Liverpool players are thinking. Whereas Forest are like, we're at Anfield today.
Yeah.
Let's keep it tight. Let's make sure we give them nothing. Let's get right in their face. Don't give them a thing. So this is the psychological battle. That's why I brought up the international break. And I don't think it's a surprise. Look at Man City. Man City were exactly the same in their game against Brentford. They couldn't get started. And it's the same psychological battle for them as well. So it's not an excuse. It's just a fact that this sometimes happens.
So you're not too worried?
No. Right now, this is a one-off. Ask me again in 3 or 4 weeks if this happens another couple of times, then that's a different conversation.
I guess the worry comes around what are Liverpool's expectations. And going into the international break, you have a perfect record up to that point, albeit you can make the argument 3 games you expect to win, but you're flying high. I say that in that if you come into the season realistically thinking that we are going to run Manchester City down, this is a blow. This is a blow. But I don't think anybody felt, well, I'll speak for myself. I didn't think Liverpool were going to run Manchester City down. As we said, I still think Liverpool are the 3rd best team in the league. So this is a bump in the road because I don't expect them to be up in that top 2 come April or May.
Now, given that Don was on the commentary today, we've asked him to provide some player ratings for us for Liverpool and to talk us through them as well. So, Don, tell us what you've got.
Well, I mean, look away if you're a Liverpool fan, but this is what my appraisal was. I couldn't really fault Alisson, so he got a 6, the highest mark of anyone in the 11. I thought Andy Robertson couldn't get into the game. Van Dijk looked a little bit rattled and a little bit ragged. He wasn't his calm self. Konate, don't get me started on how many fouls he gave away in the game, which then interrupted Liverpool's flow. Trent Alexander-Arnold, for someone that's such a good passer of the ball, he couldn't find a pass. Gravenberch, at a push, was the best in midfield. McAllister, as I said, I don't think fancied it today. Luis Diaz was good in the first half, anonymous second half. Szoboszlai was one of the worst alongside Mo Salah, because these two technically are very good, but they kept giving the ball away. These two were contagious, and then it just disrupted the whole flow, and Jota didn't really get a kick, and I could have went on to the substitutes. They had no impact neither. So when you look at the marks there and you think Alisson was their top scorer was 6, and everyone else, all that talent in front of him, was 3s, 4s and 5s, no wonder they lost the game. I mean, to Shaka's point and to Stevie's point as well, I mean, if it's a one-off, it better be, because it's Bournemouth next at home. So again, you're handpicking a team at Anfield next week where you're expected to win, and you're chasing down Man City if you can, and they're going to make you hit, on average, about 95, 96 points a season. You cannot afford to lose these games. You can't afford to lose points against Forest and points against Bournemouth. So that one there, after the Milan game in the Champions League midweek, they've got to shake it off big time.
It was interesting that Don just said that about the substitution, Stevie, because you felt the same way. There was a triple substitution at the hour mark, and you felt that there was just no impact made, really. No,
none at all. None at all. In fact, Bradley was at fault for the goal, and in general wasn't very good. Núñez, you wouldn't have known he was on the field. Gakpo had a couple of little runs, but yeah, neither any of the 3 of them made any difference whatsoever.